We're live.
What's up, folks? Y'all already know what it is. It's your favorite baby mothers. Come on in.
Hey, y'all.
And y'all know this is Mary J. Blige, Auntie Mary, because we can't call her nothing else. Come on in, baby. Call your sisters, call your cousins, call your aunties. We're gonna need y'all all here.
What she saying? You don't know me that well.
That's what she said. Mind your business. What she say, Mary?
I made it to the end. I nearly paid the cost.
Y'all look so wonderful.
Come on in, folks. Start y'all watch parties. Tell your folks, tag your friends in this post right here. We got a special guest today. We got a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. Come on and grab a seat. We got Miss Nicquel Terry Ellis on today with us, baby. Y'all might have seen her on CNN or something. And she came to hang out with the Coco moms, baby.
Now you're staring at a queen.
Come on in.
Hey, y'all.
Sing it, Mary. What's up, sister?
How y'all doing?
Good afternoon. Happy hump day.
Evening.
Happy hump day.
Yes.
Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I was a day short. I thought it was Friday Junior. I missed a day or two.
Well, Monday was a holiday, so possibly
it did.
Off.
Yeah, I didn't subtract the one. It's okay. Happy hump day to y'all. Y'all ladies look cute.
I know, but I gotta look. Wait, I gotta back up a minute to before we went live. Where Elle was like, "Wait, Anika,
right, right." Hey, give her the solo screen real quick.
Let me lift her up.
Let them get into the Coco Mom revamp.
Hey,
y'all better get into it. Do it on the screen right now. It's the Helen Coco Mom. She done came back with a revamp for y'all that need to rewind. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Turn to the side. Y'all see it. Turn to the front. It's the red lip and the bang for me. You hear me? Listen, y'all see it. Y'all see it. The Healing Coco Mom done did a chop, baby, for some healing of her own, right, sis?
Yes. I didn't even, when I cut it, it was more so just to give time for my scalp to heal and treat my scalp. But can I just be honest that honestly, where I am in life is and has been a new level in my life. And so without even realizing it, I every stage of my life, every major stage, I have always shifted it with my hair and didn't even realize that in this season of my life and then cutting my locks off and just going back to my teeny weeny afro, is that I'm also at a transitional point in my life and feeling great, feeling freer than I did 6 months ago. And I'm grateful.
Yes.
Listen, I'm here for it all. Hashtag healing journey. I'll be with it.
Hashtag. I love it.
I love it.
I see some new glasses.
Hey, Elle, right. Elle got the little shebang to the side and stuff. She got the new frame. I'm loving it. And that grin. Hey, y'all better say happy birthday to our baby sis, to our proud Coco Mom, because we still celebrating. She said all month. So
the whole month. Oh, you just like Lexi? Oh my God.
Right. Now Lexi got the whole year coming up.
Right. Thank you.
I don't get no more unemployment, and I ain't never had food stamps, so I don't know where I'm about to get this 40th birthday stuff from. But I'm about to sell some cakes, pies, and Twinkies down on the corner if y'all want to come holler at me.
That's
next
fine.
to the Squeaky Boys.
Listen, it's all about planning. So I'm gonna send y'all a nice calendar to get y'all ready for the whole year. I'm trying to go where
Elle was. Elle had all the little cute pictures.
Yep.
I'm trying to lay out on the what that word was y'all was laid out on. Cancun. What did it say? Huh?
Cancun.
When all y'all had a letter.
Yes.
See, I don't be thinking. I be paying attention in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. I be
in the middle of the night.
Right.
I was on vacation too. I just ain't have to pay the flight fee, but I was there. Me and my kid had breakfast out on the terrace every morning. Like
and that's another thing. Shout out to our October Coco moms.
Hold on, did she mean to be your hashtag already?
Come on. She was like, she just knows.
It seems that way.
Hashtag Lex Ford. Come on,
I guess it's better to embrace it than to fight it. Yeah,
I mean, y'all know me. y'all know me a long time. I feel like it's just time. And
Shamina.
speaking of celebrations, okay, our guest today made an announcement not too long ago, which was so exciting. And this was before we even got a chance to have this show, right? And after we had already talked about and gotten agreement to the show. So it was like perfect. So we didn't even know this when we booked, but it just made it all that much more better. So today, and you know what? Well, before I get into it, I got to shout out Shamina, because Shamina is the reason that I got connected with this amazing guest after her and I were having some dialogue about this big, this article. Okay. So, a crisis within a crisis. Black women are more likely to die from pregnancy complications than any other demographic group, says the CDC. Advocates fear the pandemic could make it worse. This was an article that came out August 25th of 2021. And literally, after reading this and the way it was so profoundly structured, the additions that came in from medical professionals, moms, and everyone along the way, what I loved about it, and what we all talked about too, is that it wasn't just an article that shared statistics, which are important. We're not saying that. It was also an article that shared experiences. And so you got a chance to put a face with these statistics. And so with that being said, Nicquel Terry Ellis, who is joining us today, she is. So number one, all right. She is a Coco queen in her own right. And she is an award-winning journalist. Okay. She is a senior writer with CNN on the race and equality team. Now, she joined CNN in November of 2020. November is an amazing month, as you all.
Yes, it is. Team says, shout out.
It's an amazing month.
Yes,
but prior to that, she served as the national correspondent for USA Today, covering race, inequality, and activism. She led much of the newspaper's coverage of the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and Rayshard Brooks, and the Black Lives Matter protests that erupted across America. She did a one-on-one interview with the mother of Tamir Rice ahead of what would have been his 18th birthday. She has also spent 6 years working in the local news at the Detroit News and Asbury Park Press. She has been able to cover a wide range of topics related to COVID-19 and the vaccine. And guess what? The distrust that comes from our Black and Latino and Latinx communities, as well as barriers to vaccines and access. So she knows what she's talking about. She's taken an intentional step to be able to open up and share. And you know how we always talk about controlling the narrative and the media and what is shared? Guess what? She's actually doing what we wish and hope and pray that others in those same positions do. She holds a bachelor's degree in journalism from Michigan State. She lives in the ATL area with her husband, dog, and newest member on the way with the wonderful Coco belly bump. A little baby on the way. Everybody say hey to Nicquel.
Hey,
Nicquel. Welcome.
What an introduction. Thank you, Alexa.
Listen, had to listen. Oh my gosh, like just thank you. That's like the first thing. Absolutely. Is thank you. We all have fit into one of these mini stories. I'm gonna drop the link for y'all. Okay. Oh, listen, hold on. Hey, hubby.
Oh my God.
Musa, where you at?
Oh my God, he's in here.
Yes.
That's right.
You better represent. Listen, thank you, because each of us, like even just us four here, fit into one of the stories that you covered, one of the statistics that was covered. We fit right in there. And so having you advocate for us in this way is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's all I got. I'm gonna hand it over to Anika.
Absolutely. So Nicquel, listen, before we dive into what I am sure is going to be an absolutely amazing conversation with you, we here at Coco Black like to have a little bit of fun. Let me ask, did you sign the waiver? No, okay.
What is the waiver say?
That's okay.
It for me.
It just really says that as you answer these questions, this is a judgment-free zone. Feel free to answer.
Not.
Not judgment-free.
Depends on what the question is.
It's judgment-free for some of us, okay? So
I might judge you, depends on the question. I'm just gonna be honest and transparent up front with you.
That's okay. We're gonna put T in the waiting room so she don't judge, okay?
We'll keep it real.
Okay? So
Judge
we like to
not.
play a game called Could You Live Without? And so what I'm going to do is give you two options, and you let us and the viewers know which of the two you could live without. Okay. No explanation needed, but if you would like to explain, absolutely feel free. Okay?
Okay.
We ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. That was your verbal waiver. Okay. Just okay. So the first two options are: could you live without sneakers or high heels?
This is the question I'm gonna judge you on. Let me go ahead and tell you that right now.
Me too. I might have to. No, this isn't mine. This isn't one.
This one is mine. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I can live without sneakers.
Oh, go ahead and put it. Everybody say welcome and thank you for coming to our guest.
I can wear flip-flops, ballet flats. I can. There are different kinds of other kinds of flats I can wear besides sneakers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
She clinked it.
Yeah,
she could stay. She could stay.
I've never thought about that.
I didn't either.
High heels simply just look better with a lot of dresses and clothing. Period.
Yes.
And Nicquel, hold on. We was just almost cool. Don't keep talking because listen, we was good. I was leaving you with the Crocs.
Listen, and as you see, I did not put stilettos because we're all over 20. And
stilettos in Cancun last week.
I'm 18. Thank you very much. I just turned 18.
Now she said over 20.
Over 20.
What's the anniversary of that 18th birthday? We carrying a one?
We carrying a one. We're gonna move to the next question. We don't want to embarrass Al.
Crocs.
So Nicquel, the second one is, I think this one might be Lexi. You might get a little side eye from your left. Could you live without soap or toothpaste?
Oh my God.
Right. Come on.
Hey, hold on, Nicquel. Let me warn you. Hold on. I need you to let me get Nicquel. Listen, this might be some boardroom conversation depending on what answer you give. So
okay.
On behalf of your publicist, you might want to
So
I can live without toothpaste.
There we go.
Because you can use baking soda.
There we go. She is innovative. She is innovative.
Exactly. You can compromise with that.
Listen, we are absolutely with you. You get yourself a nice baking soda and peroxide mix.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Soap at the very least, right? If you really want to
make that a TikTok. Make that a TikTok. Y'all heard it. She ain't walking around with stinky breath. She's using baking soda.
Not at all.
Absolutely. And baking soda works.
It sure does. So we've all heard it here. You could live without sneakers and toothpaste. Thank you for playing
if
with
you wear
us.
Crocs. Hey, I got a question for you. So we like to go around and we like to talk about, we as moms, we as Black women, we have that superpower, right? Mm-hmm. And so a couple of us got superpowers. So we're going to ask you for yours. We're going to ask you for your superpower. What do you as a Coco mom, what is your power?
Oh my God. So are you asking as it relates to the work I do?
Whatever way you want to answer it. You can talk about your personal.
I was gonna say, give an example. Like Anika is the healing Coco mom. Right. So Anika, why are you the healing Coco mom?
I am the healing Coco mom because I grew up in an environment as the oldest of 4 and absolutely feel like I know everything and always want to create a space of healing. And I work in child welfare, and just seeing the damage of oppressive systems in communities, in our communities, in the work that I do, I always want to create a space where I'm bringing forth healing to support holistically individuals, particularly women of color.
Period.
I'm through.
Period. And that's a sound bite. We're gonna
See?
snip that junk and use that for something.
Yes.
Hello, baby
Hi,
intern.
junior intern.
Right.
Oh,
What's up, Blue?
so cute. Look
Hello, Blue. That's one of our junior interns. Right.
Look at her face.
They pop in and out because I just wave and
Oh my God. Look at the little Coco baby.
Yes.
Right.
See, come on, Coco.
Oh,
So
and she's smiling. She's smiling. Hello, Blue. She's like, let me see more. Hello,
Hi,
Blue.
Blue Jay.
She's like, they saying my name.
Right. So now that you had like a little sample, Nicquel, what would you say is your Coco superpower, your Coco mom, Coco queen superpower?
I would say that it's compassion.
Ooh.
And I think that compassion is something that I need in my personal and in my professional life. Given that, and I think as a mom, that's something that, you definitely need to have for your children, for your family, for your loved ones. But, also looking at like the work I do, as a journalist who covers very, very sensitive issues.
Right.
And, literally talking to people who have gone through the worst. When it comes to whether racism or discrimination or, anything like that, being able to talk to people and get them to want to trust you and talk to you and tell you their story.
Yeah.
I think that's just something that, it comes naturally, but also I think you kind of learn just through experience that, you have to have compassion in covering these issues and in being a journalist, period. I would say that that's what my power would be as a Coco mom.
Awesome.
Gosh, I love that. And part of what our 3 maternal stages are when it comes to Coco Life Black is pregnancy, postpartum, and compassion, which our Coco Mom T actually happens to head up the compassion team, because that is the space. And honestly, almost couldn't have planned it, segue into what we also wanted to lift up. We know this month has many sensitive observations, and one of them being Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So we hold space and compassion for the moms and families that have gone through those different stages, and not just in one way, right? However we need to be there, and however we need to help people to understand their ways of journeying through. So when you lifted up compassion, I think like that's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Wow.
Yeah.
Woo! Listen, that word right there stops me in my tracks. So I had to catch my breath. Wow.
Yeah, and I think
thank you for that. Thank you for that.
The one thing that I have to remind myself of constantly is that, even though I'm a journalist and I do my job, but I'm also a human, and so these things that I'm covering and I'm writing about. And I have emotions, and sometimes you've covered stories of mothers that have either moms that have lost their lives or nearly lost their lives giving birth, just because that's the topic we're talking about right now. It's like wow, like I'm going to be a mom soon.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I'm a Black woman. And so just thinking about that, I just have to remind myself that I am human. So,
wow.
Thank you for that. We definitely appreciate that. Elle, you got something for our good sis?
Yeah, it's so funny. I was actually just about to take myself off mute. Y'all know, got a lot of stuff going on over here.
Listen,
But
we understand. We Coco Mom power.
Let's go.
Coco Mom.
But thank you for lifting that up. The fact that like you talk to people all the time and you converse and have these conversations, and that you're also human, and now you'll find yourself in this space where you're pregnant now, and the topic that we're talking about tonight is about like health disparities of Black and brown moms. And so knowing that you now are a brown mom about to have a baby, How important is it, do you think, for you to have healthcare professionals who look like you, doctors, nurses, those types of people actually caring for our people in that setting, since we're the only ones who really understand how important this is?
I think it's very important. I think that there are not enough Black doctors and Black nurses, working in obstetrics and gynecology. I think that that's one issue where we're lacking, and I think that for me, I wouldn't say that I've necessarily had a negative or or detrimental experience with with white doctors that I've had in the past. But I know people that have. I know people that have gone in the hospital, to get cared for and been treated horribly, whether it's nursing staff or doctors, and these are people of color. And I think that it's an issue that is systemic, and I think that's one I think solution, or one way to I think move forward, is to get more Black folks working in healthcare, more Black doctors out there. And I think that's going to help, because I think a lot of times you want someone caring for you and providing your healthcare, who not only can understand you, but who's going to treat you with dignity, and like a human, and and listen to you when you tell them that, hey, I'm in pain, or I'm concerned about this issue that I'm having. I'm concerned about how I'm feeling, and actually have the doctor listen to you and take you seriously, and not try to diminish or minimize whatever your concern might be. And I think that that's one thing that people are that Black people are looking for, I think, when they get healthcare. And I think that that's also one reason why there's so much mistrust in the healthcare system between Black folks and doctors. And even when it comes to getting the COVID-19 vaccine, they're like, I don't trust the scientists. I don't trust the doctors who are, in my community's hospital, who are administering this vaccine. I don't trust their messaging. I simply want people. I want to hear this from people who look like me, whether this is actually going to help me by getting this shot, or if it's going to, harm me or cause side effects. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, I definitely think that's just one of those things. I have a friend who's actually a provider, and she's recently had an influx of a lot of African American patients, and she delivers babies. And that's one of the things that they're all saying is like, I looked at the practice, I found you online, you were the only Black one. And single-handedly, she has brought so many other Black providers to this specific healthcare institution, because we understand how important it is to have people who look like us when in those situations.
Because who else would be able to know how to balance, these conversations, this engagement? I think that what it made me think about in asking and you answering that question was my own personal experience and what that looked like in dealing with it. And right. And while I've heard many experiences of persons not of color who have been very intentional, very thoughtful in how they move. One of the reasons why I became a postpartum doula was because of the fact that I felt like I needed that support, or what I didn't feel like I got on the front end as well. So going through that. So we do have a question in the chat. Hey, to our Regal Coco mom, Kia. Just want to shout out a couple people. T. Pearson is doing quadruple duty, also in the chat, wondering like, what in the world? How's you doing that? Shout out to Coco Dad Musa, who also has a couple of questions, but I'm going to lift up this one first. Would you rather be treated like a valued patient or a valued part of the family by your provider? So thinking in terms of that, provider relationship, and oftentimes, sometimes people can be a little too familiar or not familiar enough. Is there a preference that, you think you might have, even as what you may have experienced so far?
That's a kind of a tough question. I think at the end of the day, I just want to be be considered and treated like a value patient. I mean, I think as far as like, feeling like there's a, a family or, things like that, like maybe that's not as important to me. I just want to know that my concerns are being heard and that the doctors that are caring for me are doing everything possible to make sure that that my health is a top priority, and that that I'm, like I said, that I'm being listened to, and that I'm being heard, and that I am just getting the best care possible. I think that's my biggest concern. I think that in some cases it's not happening with some Black men and women, Black women and men, when they go to get health care. And I think, like I said earlier, it's an issue that is systemic, and it's an issue that our healthcare system needs to definitely work on. And I think that healthcare bias is a thing, systemic racism is a thing, and you see it all up and through the healthcare system. And so I think that's one thing that needs to be addressed, so that people feel like they can go to a doctor, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, it doesn't matter, and still feel like that they are being valued as a person and as a patient.
You said it. You said it all. I want to also lift up something as well to let folks know that you have a right to advocate for yourself as a patient. And just because you're going to the doctor don't mean that doctor is an expert on you and your health conditions. And so if you're not clear on the instructions for something, you have a right to ask questions. You have a right to change your doctor. It don't matter if it's been your family doctor for centuries. If you're not getting your needs met, you're not being heard. Because sometimes that's a problem with us Black women when we go to the doctor that may not look like us or understand us. Then you get told what to do, you get a follow-up appointment, and you out your way in 15 minutes with a copay. But ask for what you want. Advocate for yourself. You have a right to protect your own health. I'm at the hospital frequently. I'm a disabled vet. I got plenty of doctors, plenty of appointments, but they all know if I ain't agreeing with it, I'm going to Google it myself, and I'm going to ask questions, because Google going to tell me I got knee cancer anyway. So you can have a cold, and Google going to tell you, but I'm going to ask my doctor, and if I don't like the answer, I'm going to push back. And so, I want to advocate for folks until the system catch up to us, like Nicquel was saying. When the system catch up to us, we can stop having to advocate as much. But for now, know your body, know your rights.
And I think that just to your point, T, I think that's an issue that I think a lot of younger moms haven't quite grasped, or don't quite grasp, when you're young and pregnant and you're already overwhelmed and dealing with not being fully matured, and now here you are pregnant and having to go see an OBGYN once a month, once every other week. And your OBGYN might be a woman or a man who doesn't look like you. And so you just go in there and, you get you get weighed and your blood pressure taken and all of that. And the doctor says X, Y, and Z, said, okay. And then you say, okay. And then you leave. But I think it's important, like you said, T, to ask questions and push back. And I think that's one thing that we have to instill in our young moms who don't know, or even really, even know what to ask. Like, I mean, I go to see my OBGYN. I have questions written down in my notes in my phone. Like, I know, and she probably is just sitting there like, and she answers them. And she's patient, thankfully. But, I'll literally go to the doctor with questions ready to ask, because I'm like, this is my health. This is the health of me and the health of my baby, and this is important to me.
I'm so glad you said that.
Perfect. Right. Mm-hmm. Woo. Anika, what you got for us?
As she talks
to me. Hear you.
2020 is over, 2021, and we're still saying you're on mute.
That's right. Look, you got a new hairdo. You excused for the day.
Okay. So, Nicquel, a couple of things came up for me before I asked my question as you were speaking. Just even in that, I thought about Judge Lynn Toler, and her daughter-in-law was giving birth, and after giving birth, shortly after, her pressure dropped and she was really cold. And she advised her doctor, the husband advised the doctor, her mother-in-law advised the doctor. and they simply dismissed it as it's a part of giving birth. She's okay. And she passed away, right? And so you lifted up a lot of it being important to feel seen and to be heard, right? And in that space, she absolutely, the cries of the entire family went unheard. And you know what? Let me change that. It was heard and went ignored. Right?
Ignored. That's the word right there.
And I
Right,
mean, we see
yes.
it happen in so many cases, as Lexi said, just even in our own experiences up here on this show. And also, you spoke about young moms, so it made me smile because I have one child. I was gonna say my first child, but I had my first child at 24. He's 13 now. One day I'm going to have another one because you know I'm a little over 20.
Claim it.
That's right.
20. But can I tell you, at about to be 38, I am in such a different space of awareness and knowledge that I am actually looking forward to my interaction and engagement with my OBGYN and to be an advocate for myself, because I absolutely know that at 24, I was not. At 24, when my doctor said, oh, it's just a part of pregnancy, it's fine. And I didn't believe him and I was fearful, but I was too afraid to say anything, and I let it go. And I'm excited that I won't let it go, right? Which is why this space is so necessary for us to give each other the space, confidence, and permission to advocate for ourselves. So with that said, as you prepare for motherhood, right? You spoke a lot about, again, you preparing for motherhood, you're writing the news, you've covered a host of issues, and you've witnessed people at what has felt like their lowest. As you prepare for motherhood, do you believe that motherhood is going to shift your lens as you write the news going forward? And what will balance look like between these roles?
I do. I mean, I think that being a Black woman and now soon to be Black mom, I think that my lived experience is going to better inform me as a journalist. I think that I will sort of bring a perspective and a lens to my work that perhaps I didn't before. Because now, I think I have, I'll be a mom raising a child in Atlanta, and so here I am joining. Adding another title, to what I do. Now I'm working mom, or I'm a working Black mom, and so I think about all of that, and eventually my child will have to go to daycare, and I think about that now. I have to figure out, finding a safe daycare in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, I think about all of the conversations that now I'm having that I wasn't having a year ago, and it definitely impacts my perspective, my insight, the stories that I think about, the stories that I want to do. Thankfully, I have managers at CNN who embrace my ideas. They embrace my experience as a Black woman. They value my ideas and my experiences, and the things that I want to cover. And they knew going into this job that I had a passion for covering Black maternal health. And I think it's because I wanted, I knew I always wanted to be a mother. And so I think you naturally are just interested in, Black motherhood and Black maternal health, and, what's sort of going on, in that sphere. And then also, now here I am now, I'm about to be a mom soon. Now I'm pregnant right now. And so I think, all those, just that right there naturally just makes me interested and wanting to cover these issues. I know that Alexia and I have been talking this week about my interest in doing a story about Black moms and vaccine hesitancy. I'm vaccinated. I got vaccinated prior to getting pregnant earlier this year, but I do know that there are Black moms, who I know or who I've talked to, who are still hesitant, about how the vaccine might impact them and impact their babies. And so I think it's just that's just something that naturally I just am interested in. And so I think, to answer your question, absolutely. I think it's definitely going to sort of change my perspective and, allow me to bring a different lens to the table of covering race and covering health disparities.
Wow. I mean, like, just hearing, and it's true, like when you become or you're struck by this purpose, I think that's what it is. You get bit by the purpose bug and you start to lean into it, and then you have a platform that you can leverage, or you create a platform that can be leveraged. You cannot help but use that if you are operating in an intentional space. And that everything that you said is exactly what inspired us to come together with Coco Life Black. So even when we had to change a name because of things, even when we had to shift how we move because of things, even when we had to highlight other components because of things, it was just a reminder that we each bring these talents to the table. Elle didn't mention it, but she's also a labor and delivery nurse. Okay, I don't know how she always be forgetting to throw that in there.
Because she be trying to be so low key.
She try to yes, she tries to.
Listen, I'm just here. I'm just here.
Listen, I mean,
The
like,
proud Coco mom does it all.
Real literally.
Yeah, she really
And she can make your shirts for when you deliver and you want to have your nice
shirts.
And she can decorate for your baby shower. She can
right. She can decorate for the baby shower, and if your hairstylist can't come, she can hook you up too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Elle does it all.
I need you to fly to Atlanta, Elle.
She coming.
What day?
She coming.
And we coming with her. You just gotta know this is
because
her.
I got her to blow dry.
Right. And I gotta carry the toothpaste and the soap, so she can have it for her.
And I got the crop.
Do it all.
She get tired.
Yes. You name it, I'll be there.
You see that? And listen, don't worry about Baby Blue. We got a village for her. Listen, drop her off in Maryland on your way.
And listen, Nicquel, we were in Atlanta on our Coco Mom tour back over the summer.
Which we would have knew you then. We would have came up and seen
We were in Atlanta on our Coco Mom tour. We went to Atlanta and Alabama, and that was it, to create this space, to create this place for us to be able to be so intentionally. But you lift up something, and I know T, you got a question that I really think is important to acknowledge, which is that you are a member of an organization and you have a member of your team who supports your voice, who encourages it, who lifts it up. And again, because most of us have been in that space where we did not have that, how valuable that is, because especially going through that while pregnant, I remember going through some very tumultuous times while experiencing a child and experiencing sexism, racism, all kinds of isms in an environment, a work environment where I was still expected to perform. And that just brings about a whole new shift of anxiety. So I'm gonna kick it to T, but thank you for mentioning that, because that really is a vital part.
Yeah.
Well, before I finish, thank you, Alexia. But before I finish, I'm going back to Anika because it looked like she was still saying something. She hit that ... and we forgot.
Anika, that was part of the private chat.
Listen,
she didn't say. She didn't.
Thank you. Now you done snitched on our private chat.
Okay. So, Nicquel, when you were speaking about the shifting in lens, what I really appreciated was just the transparency and honesty around how, whether you are pregnant or preparing for motherhood, how it begins to instinctively shift how you view the world, how you view and interact with your environment, right? And it shifts what you think is important, right? Because now it's no longer just self, but it's, I am about to raise this beautiful young prince, this beautiful young princess that the world does not value, that the world will see as a threat, right? And so it begins to shift. Now I'm not only reporting the news, but I'm also responsible for protecting this life when others don't value it. And I think that is so indicative of motherhood overall, right? Like whatever sphere you work in, it's once you become a mom, it's navigating all of these roles, with is compacted in, I have to protect this person.
Yeah. And I think that, to your point, Anika, I think that it's going to make, I mean, I've always been passionate about covering racial inequality and systemic racism and police brutality against, young Black men and women. But I think now I'm going to be raising a child, like you said, in a country that is not always kind to young Black children. And it's going to make me care, I think, even more. And it's going to make me even more passionate about wanting to make sure that these issues are being covered. Because now, I'll interview a mom who has, lost a child to police violence. And I have interviewed several, and I mean several moms who have gone through that. And now I feel like I'm relatable in a sense where I'm a mother too. And I can't imagine, what it would be like or what it must be like for a parent to lose a child to racist police violence. And I think I will, it'll be top of mind for me a lot when I'm, when I'm in the meetings at work, when we're pitching stories, when we're talking about, whatever the latest story is, or whatever is happening in the news as it relates to race and violence. It's gonna be top of mind for me. And then when I get off work, I'm gonna have to have those conversations at the table with my husband and my child about, if I don't know the sex of my child, but if I do have a son, how do you protect yourself? Once you get to be a teenager, or if you're out, with your friends playing on a playground like Tamir Rice was,
Right.
this was a child, a 12-year-old. And, even if you're out, doing things like that, how you can still be targeted. So no, we're not doing toy guns, no. And yes, when you learn how to drive, police pull you over, you keep both hands on the steering wheel until you are directed to reach for your license and registration. I mean, the basic conversations that Black parents are unfortunately having to have with their children every day, conversations that white parents are not having to have. And I think these are the things that will be top of mind for me even more. And being a mom. And so I definitely think it's gonna have an impact on me as a journalist, and just in general as a mom now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Protect your compassion cup, though.
Yeah.
I want to just throw that out there, because even now the compassion that you're offering and you're putting into each piece that you're doing, like you just said, it's going to be amplified once you deliver and you have your own piece to add to this story, right? So our advice: protect your compassion cup, because your emotional core is going to open up so much more when that baby comes. I ain't cried so daggone much before I had my 156-month-old, but that's another story.
Not know the number of months.
Yeah, 156. Somebody right now know when they got their calculator to try to figure it out, because they know.
Do the math.
Look, how old is she, Anika?
I did.
How old is she, Anika?
Right. So T, first of all, you're hilarious. So of course we take the 12, we times it by what, 14?
Yeah.
She is 168 months old.
168. Oh, I was off a couple months. 168. See, now I got a new number. See what I'm saying? Carry the one. I forgot. I heard you say earlier that that you were, good to have your kid mind your business. We got company. You showing off in the comments. That's my other half of Candy Converse with T and Kids. She don't pay her no comment. So you said that you had some folks that were supportive of your storylines and the work that you're doing, just as a Black mom and a Black woman, kind of covering the stories that you have throughout your years of journalism. So that's awesome. I'm nosy. And so I wanted to know, and for the other folks that's not going to type it, have you ever had any resistance, though? Any internal resistance from, a producer, or don't drop no names, save that for your book. But, have you had any resistance because of the race component to which a lot of your stories tend to lend to?
Absolutely. I'm going to try not to name the name of the editors of the publications.
Oh, just give us a couple hints. Our followers will find them. Our followers will find them.
We used to be in the microscope. So
right.
But carry on.
That's why we had to change our name.
But some years ago, I actually was working for a news outlet in which I pitched an idea that we should have someone who I was volunteering to do this, to cover race and equality issues. And because there was no one at this outlet that was covering that issue, and there was very little coverage of it, period. So I mean, I was trying to do little stories here and there, about the Black and brown community, but it was a job where it was heavy on the assignments, heavy on the, you do this, and that, and not much room for autonomy and creativity to pitch your own ideas, which is one thing I did not like about that position. But when I pitched it, I think that the pushback I got was that the readership or audience of this outlet, it wouldn't do well with this audience. The audience was too conservative. The audience was too white, to me, in my opinion.
I already know what station you talk about, then. I done figured it out. You gave me enough clues. Well, go ahead.
It was not Fox. I did not work at Fox. But that's what you're thinking.
Oh, I read your bio. I done figured it out.
Anyway, so I got the pushback, and I will never forget that, because I think I tried to make a case that I thought was strong. I was living in a majority Black city, and I thought that, I'm like, hey, why not have someone? I saw that there were other publications that were starting to create race and ethnicity, race and equality teams, or appoint reporters in their newsroom to cover these issues. I mean, this was, back when we were having Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, and Michael Brown. I mean, all of these cases had exploded by then and really changed the way that the country viewed race and police violence against Black and brown people. And I felt at the time, and I still feel this way, that every newsroom should have someone designated to cover these issues. I mean, this is one of the biggest stories of our time right now, is race in America. And to kind of blow that off, or to push back on someone who wants to cover that, it was concerning for me. And there have been times, like, for example, I was able to cover for CNN this year the Black maternal health issue, an issue that I've been passionate about for quite some time. I pitched similar stories at different publications about covering that issue in the past, and it wasn't as embraced as it was at CNN. CNN is really the only place that seemed to really embrace my idea and my desire to wanting to cover Black maternal health.
Wow. And we are so thankful for that, being open, because again, you absolutely have influence in your words and what you write and what we say. And that's a note to everybody, those tuning in, those watching the playback. We thank you so much for joining us. We just had an amazing conversation, dialogue with Nicquel Terry Ellis, Coco mom. So excited. Shout out to Coco dad Andre and the community and village that is supporting them. We are so grateful, and we need so much more of that, because our stories, when told by us the right way, can either uplift us, and or it can bring out an issue that impacts us in an intentional way. And so when people see stations like CNN, people like you, people like other entities that are lifting those up, then it unfortunately, but it's fortunate, it's like, oh, okay, this must be something important that we need to address. And since the media does have such an impact on us, look, we're on social media right now. So it is what it is. So thank you so much. As just one final piece, as we wrap up for today, any advice or final words, suggestions, tips, whatever it is, one piece that you would like to leave with our audience for today, please share. Please take this moment to do that.
I would say you are your biggest advocate, and you have to advocate for yourself, no matter if it's in healthcare or the workplace or wherever you might be. I think that as Black and brown people, we are underrepresented, we are oppressed, we are overlooked, we are marginalized, we are all of the above. But I think that one thing that we have to do is keep speaking out and keep speaking up. And for me, my way of doing that is using my platform as a journalist, and working for a large news organization like CNN obviously helps me a lot to get those messages and get those stories out. However you can do it, in your community or in whatever space you're in, speak up and and be an advocate, because that's the only way we're going to ever achieve any form of equity.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuning in, who has tuned in, again, who's watching the playback in the comments. Thank you so much, Coco Dad. We appreciate it. Coco Mom Kia. Thank you to Coco Mom Shamina for lifting it up, and everybody else who's here now or watching this in the playback. Please make sure you are following Nicquel on IG. You can go and check her out and follow all the great things that she is doing. We will drop the link that you can see the article that we are referencing, The Crisis Within a Crisis, which she co-wrote, and all the many other things that she has done and has written, one of which I want to lift up. We need to imagine healthcare in a different way. We're thinking of these Band-Aid solutions. Oh, if providers get this training on racism, they'll be okay. But other countries get it right. We need to trust Black women. We need to hear Black women. That is a message that was included in the Crisis Within a Crisis article. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this episode of Coco Connect by Coco Life Black. We are again listening to Coco Queen herself, Mary J. Blige. We are cultivating the community, y'all, okay? You can find us everywhere on every platform. Coco Life Black on IG, on Facebook, and guess what? It is our website. It's www.cocolife.black. So you can find us.
Hold on, but it's the period. Like instead of .com, put .black.
Right.
They might type it out. They might have typed out the dot.
That's what, right, .black. But on YouTube, when you watch this and you share this, you can find us there at Coco Life Black. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you keep following. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace and blessings.
Hey, hold up real quick. Hold up. I want to shout out CNN real quick.
Yes.
And thank them for the support that they give you as you support us in our community, in the media. It feels good to see somebody covering the stuff that impacts us day in and day out, because we may not trust people that don't look like us because we don't always get the truth from them. So Thank you, Nicquel. Thank you, CNN, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's right. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you stay connected with us the rest of this month. We have more Coco Connects coming out. We have more ways that we're going to observe this intentional month. So thank y'all so much. Be blessed. Peace.
Peace.